the master plan has a lot to do with reinventing tourism for the 21st century. How can we transform sun and beach into a logic of the today's world, the today's economy, keeping in mind also sustainability and the sense of local quality. Our office is doing a lot of master planning, and we very much enjoy to make master plans very site-specific. So for us the context is a very serious consideration. In our master plans we have a tendency to use investment strategies which are already existing as a tool to change. So we don't start from a logic of architecture. In that sense, the Playa de Palma master plan is not very different as an approach to other master plans. So within the entire realm, the area of the Playa de Palma, we would like to see in the future more diversity. And one of the reasons for this diversity, for example, in Can Pastilla or La Ribera or La Renal, we believe local communities have a very strong presence as well. As a tourist, it's not nice to be only in a resort, in a hotel. You know, that's nice for half a day, and then if you have another week, you want to enjoy the Mediterranean lifestyle, the Mediterranean city, the Mediterranean public space. And it's very interesting for a tourist industry that the local community, which is also involved in this industry, has a pleasant place to live as well. We strongly believe that the future of Playa de Palma should be built also on the logic of local people and the present quality of history, which is before it was a tourist attraction. It's very important to understand that our family has a very long, already two-generation engagement with Catalonia. So we came here as children in summer every year, and we've seen the growth of mass tourism, and we are sometimes smile about it and sometimes cry about it. And my first impression of Playa de Palma was exactly what I understood from Benidorm and from Playa de Aro. And I have I tell you, I am very open-minded to this phenomenon that people from the Northwest, from our countries, from England, Holland, Belgium, Denmark, Germany, they come in a sort of shameless way to enjoy the sun and beach. And part of that culture is what it is. I think it could be challenging for the future to use this logic in a way which is also more in relation to nature. Now my grandfather and grandmom, they went here every winter for 4 or 5 weeks. And they always came home with oranges. So they came home very brown and tanned, and then they with really a bag full of oranges. And, let's say to other part of Spain, to Costa Brava. But we saw the tourism starting in mass culture, and then it became banalized. So we saw how Spain had a very bad strategy on tourism. And now, you know, Spain has to reinvent tourism, there's no doubt. Since Delft, the tourism took over the coast in the most radical way. And it completely destroyed pieces of the country. And this is very sad, because the original coast is very, also in Mallorca, if you go to the other coast, unbelievable. It's so beautiful, and there's all this authentic quality of life, and the urbanism and the history is there. It's much more pleasant. For the future, that's a better market, no doubt. Let's the cheap money go to Morocco or to Turkey, you know, let them fly there. No? And then this area should evolve and change in more conference and leisure and wealth, sports. It could have much more diversity and quality tourism on top of each other, sort of stratification. And this rich layer of history here in Palma is I think it's very interesting. So the future for Playa de Palma could be very interesting. And another very important thing for Spain is that, you know, the growth of Spanish tourism in the 60s and the 70s was based on consumption of water, energy, pollution, waste, and that had to be rethought, re-engineered, because, I mean, in the future you cannot, you know, keep wasting energy and water, because so the future tourism should be based on the ecological footprint and the local resources, much better. Public transport, people bicycling instead of taking cars. I think there's a lot of good energy now in Spain, in the entire country, and this should be demonstrated in pilot projects such as here. So when you arrive for the first time in Playa de Palma, you believe Playa de Palma is a huge boulevard, 6 kilometers, which is even bigger than Copacabana, and it is more or less in the people's mental map as a continuous, endless Copacabana. Of course, it's not so nice as Copacabana. The beaches, but for the rest it's less. And we were amazed why the rich identities which were there could not be better. So from our strategy we always tried to make a sort of zoning in which the diverse elements of the waterfront could become a much stronger identity and a better anchor. And when we started thinking about the master plan later, after the competition, we figured out that the specific zones, such as Fontaneles or Maravillas, they could evolve in the future in a very strong identity, different than other pieces on the coastline. So as a result, in the future you have richer context for tourism, but also for people to live, and I think that's a very interesting thing. Now, at the moment when we are you know, finishing and researching the master plan in more deeper layers, we also figured out that for example Fontaneles as a green area, but also the area of the canteras, they should be integrated in a future concept as well. So the future concept for the hotel industry is less beds and more stars than certain specifications, specialisms of new hotels should be built in the canteras, which is now a leftover wasteland, and they could become completely new and refreshing identities in the Playa de Palma product. Arenal, there is a torrent. This is designed as any torrent in Spain, because the torrent is a problem, by a civil engineer. It's completely in concrete, like a sewer. And we believe that, that this torrent in Arenal, that should be changed in a park. It should be a very pleasant ramblas with trees and shade. And of course, when the danger of the water is there, it should be evacuated and could still function as an efficient torrent. But you know, these things are so simple in today's landscape, but they need to be redesigned for the future, and they will become the prototype, the anchor.